Welcome to another episode of the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. So sometimes I create content based on what I need to hear. And this episode is one of those times. I'm recording this episode near the end of September, which means that I'm thinking about the final quarter of the year and what steps I'm going to take to finish the year strong. However, I'm also struggling a bit with mindset right now. I've let comparisonitis and limited beliefs get into my head. So I need to get my head back in the right place. If you're having similar challenges, stick around. We're going to talk about how adopting or readopting a growth mindset can help you plan your next steps effectively so that you can achieve your business goals. You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Before we get started, let me mention that you'll find the show notes for this episode at tanyakendrick.com/19. So what exactly is a growth mindset? Simply put, it's the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, dedication, and a willingness to learn. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset where you believe that your talents and skills are set in stone. Now, I get it. As solopreneurs, we often fall into the trap of thinking that we need to have all the answers right off the bat. We need to have it all figured out. But here's the thing. Embracing a growth mindset means understanding that it's okay not to know everything, because every challenge, every setback, every moment of uncertainty is an opportunity to grow and become better at what you do. The thing is, we all have setbacks. We struggle. Things are harder than we thought they would be. And it's easy to think, maybe I'm just not cut out for this entrepreneurial gig. But let me encourage you to reframe that thought. Instead of getting bogged down in that limited mindset, try looking at it as a chance to learn. Debrief the experience, whether it's a failed launch or a mind-boggling tech issue. Write down what you thought would happen, what actually happened, what you learned from the experience, and most importantly, what you'll do next time. That's the power of a growth mindset. When you start looking at everything as a learning experience, you turn, I can't do this, into I can't do this yet. And that little word yet is a powerful shift. And if you want more about growth versus limited mindsets, I talk about that in episode 13. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes. Okay, now that we've got the growth mindset basics down, it's time to take a good hard look at where you're at right now. This isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. Because let's face it, you can't map out where you're going if you don't know where you're starting from. So let's talk SWOT. No, I'm not talking about calling in a tactical team, though sometimes it feels like we need one. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a tool that we used during strategic planning sessions back when I was in the corporate world. First up, strengths. What are you killing it at? Maybe you've got a knack for creating awesome content, or you're a whiz at building relationships with clients. Whatever it is, own it. These are the foundations that you'll build on. Next, weaknesses. I know it's not fun to think about what we're not great at, but remember that growth mindset we just talked about? This is where it comes into play. Your weaknesses are just skills that you haven't mastered yet. Now, opportunities. This is where things get exciting. What's happening in your industry, your niche, that you could tap into? Are there new trends or technologies that align with your strengths? Get creative here. And finally, threats. What could potentially derail your progress? Maybe it's a saturated market or changing algorithms. Identifying these now means that you can plan ahead and you can turn those potential threats into opportunities. Take some time with this and be honest with yourself. If you're feeling stuck, you might reach out to a friend or mentor for their perspective. Sometimes getting an outside view can shed light on things that we might miss when we're looking at it from the inside. But don't stop at SWOT. Reflect on your journey so far. What wins have you had? Make a note of these. And those setbacks, remember, they're not failures, they're lessons. So what did you learn from them? How can you use that knowledge moving forward? Keep in mind, this assessment isn't about beating yourself up. It's about getting crystal clear on where you are so you can chart a course to where you want to be. It's all part of the process. Okay, now that we've got a good picture of where we stand, it's time to set our sights on where we're heading. So let's do a quick refresher on SMART goals, the kind that keep you focused, motivated, and on track. What makes a goal SMART? Let's break it down. Specific. Vague goals get vague results. We want laser-focused objectives that leave no room for confusion. Instead of, I want to grow my business, honestly, how much more vague could that be? Try something like, I want to increase my email list by 1,000 subscribers. That is a specific goal. Measurable. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. How will you know when you've hit your target? Make sure your goal has a metric attached to it. Achievable. Dream big, but keep it real. Your goals should stretch you, but not break you. Be ambitious, but make sure it's something that you can actually accomplish with hard work and dedication. Relevant. Does this goal align with your overall vision? Make sure that each objective you set is moving you in the direction you want to go. And finally, time-bound. Deadlines are motivating. Give yourself a realistic time frame to achieve your goal. That creates urgency and it also helps you prioritize. Now here's the kicker. Accountability. Setting SMART goals is great, but without accountability, it's easy to let things slide. So here are a few tricks to keep yourself on track. 1, write it down. There's power to putting pen to paper. And of course, I mean digital as well. It doesn't have to be actual paper. Just write your goals down somewhere that you'll see them daily. 2, share your goals. Tell a friend, a mentor, or even your audience. Knowing that others are aware of your goals can be a powerful motivator because you don't want to let them down. 3, break it down. Large goals can be overwhelming, so break them into smaller, manageable tasks. 4, regular check-ins. Schedule weekly or monthly reviews to assess your progress and make adjustments as needed. And 5, celebrate milestones. Don't wait until you've achieved the whole goal to celebrate. Acknowledge your progress along the way. We're going to talk more about celebrating in a few minutes. Setting SMART goals isn't about restricting yourself. It's about giving yourself a clear path forward. It's about turning those big, exciting dreams into actionable steps that you can tackle one by one. So take some time to craft your SMART goals. What do you want to achieve in the next 30 days, 90 days, by the end of the year? Get specific, get measurable, and get excited. Because with SMART goals and a growth mindset, there really is no limit to what you can achieve. All right, we've set SMART goals. Now it's time to map out how we're going to achieve them. This is where the rubber meets the road. I'm talking about creating an action plan. Think of your action plan as a roadmap. It's not just about knowing where you want to go, it's about plotting out every twist and turn along the way. So, how do we create an action plan that actually works? 1, break down your goals into manageable tasks. Big goals can feel overwhelming. We've talked about this already. That's why we're going to slice and dice them into bite-sized pieces. For each goal, list out every single step you need to take to make it happen. For example, if your goal is to launch a new product, your tasks might include research market demand, create a product outline, plan your marketing strategy, set up the sales page, create an email sequence. And each one of those is probably going to have multiple subtasks, so include them in your action plan as well. 2, prioritize your tasks. Not all tasks are created equal. Some will have a bigger impact on your progress, while others might be more urgent. Use a prioritization matrix to sort your tasks. Things that are urgent and important, do those ASAP, as soon as possible. Things that are urgent but not important, they should be scheduled. Things that are urgent but not important, delegate those if it's at all possible. And things that aren't urgent or important, consider eliminating them altogether. 3, assign deadlines. Remember the T in SMART goals? It stands for time-bound. Give each task a deadline. This creates a sense of urgency, and it helps you stay on track. Be realistic, but don't give yourself too much wiggle room. A little pressure can be motivating. Not too much pressure, a little pressure. 4, utilize tools. Don't try to manage all of this in your head. Use tools to keep yourself organized and on track. I mostly use Asana for project and task management, but I also often use Google Sheets to track various components of a project. Sometimes I just need to see things in a spreadsheet. 5, build in accountability. Share your action plan with somebody, a business buddy, a coach, or even your audience. Knowing that someone else is aware of your plans can be a powerful motivator. Now, here's a pro tip. Don't just create your action plan and file it away. Keep it visible. I have a spreadsheet where I map out my quarterly goals and key actions. It's one of the first things I open when I sit down at my desk in the morning, and I refer to it all day. It's a constant reminder of what I'm working towards and what needs to be done next. And one of the things I always say is that your action plan isn't set in stone. As you progress, you might need to adjust and refine. That's totally okay. In fact, it's a sign of that growth mindset that we talked about earlier. Be flexible, be willing to learn, and be ready to pivot when necessary. Creating an action plan might seem like extra work, but trust me, it's a habit that you really want to develop. It takes those big, exciting goals and turns them into a step-by-step process that you can tackle one day at a time. It's about making consistent progress, staying focused, and building momentum. Okay, we've set SMART goals, we've made action plans. Now it's time to talk about resilience and adaptability. In the world of online entrepreneurship, change is the only constant. Algorithms shift, trends come and go, and unexpected challenges pop up when you least expect them. That's why cultivating resilience and adaptability is essential. So how do we build those skills? And make no mistake, they are skills, which means that you can develop them. Embrace challenges as opportunities. This is where that growth mindset comes into play. When you hit a roadblock, instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Shift your perspective to, what can I learn from this? Every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better at what you do. And reframe failure. In fact, let's just banish the word failure from our vocabulary and replace it with feedback. When something doesn't go as planned, it's not a reflection of you or your abilities. It's simply information that you can use to adjust your approach. Practice problem solving. When you're faced with a challenge, break it down into smaller, manageable parts. Ask yourself, what's within my control? What resources do I have? What's one small step I can take right now? This approach helps prevent overwhelm and it keeps you moving forward. Build your support network. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Join mastermind groups. Connect with fellow entrepreneurs. Maybe find a mentor. Having a support system can provide perspective, encouragement, and sometimes the kick in the pants that we need to keep going. Develop a growth routine. Make learning and personal development a regular part of your schedule. Read books, listen to podcasts, take courses. The more that you expand your knowledge and skills, the more adaptable you become. Practice self-care. Resilience isn't just about pushing through. It's also about knowing when to rest and recharge. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Have you ever heard that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup? That's what that means. And recognize small wins. When we have our sights set only on big goals, it's easy to overlook the small victories. But acknowledging these wins builds confidence and momentum. Did you send that pitch email that you've been nervous about? Yay! Did you figure out a tech issue that's been bugging you? That's worth recognizing. I clap for myself when I solve tech issues. Building resilience and adaptability is like building a muscle. It takes practice, and yes, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but the more that you flex these skills, the stronger they become. So the next time you face a setback, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how can I use this to become better? Because with the right mindset, every challenge is just a stepping stone. Okay, before we wrap up, let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but I think it's crucial to your success. Tracking your progress. Remember that action plan that we created? It's not a set and forget it kind of deal. Make it a habit to review your plan regularly. I recommend doing a quick daily check-in and a more in-depth weekly review. This helps you stay on track and it allows you to make adjustments as needed. Use a progress tracker. Whether it's a spreadsheet, a bullet journal, or a dedicated app, find a system that works for you to track your progress. Visually seeing how far you've come can really help you stay motivated. Keep a win journal. At the end of each day or week, write down your wins, even if it's just one. I do this as part of my morning journal practice. I write down what went well the day before. This practice helps shift your focus to progress rather than perfection. Set milestones. Break your big goals into milestones. These serve as checkpoints along the way and give you more opportunities to celebrate your progress. Celebrate wins. Now let's talk about the fun part, celebrating your wins. I can't stress enough how important this is. Celebrations, no matter how small, release dopamine in our brains, and dopamine increases our motivation and productivity. Plus, it just feels good. So here are some ways that you can celebrate your wins. Treat yourself to something you enjoy. A nice meal, a massage, that new book that you've been eyeing. Take a day off to relax and recharge. Share your success with your support network. Turn on some music and dance it out. Write a gratitude journal entry reflecting on your achievement. Celebration isn't just about the outcome, it's about acknowledging the effort, the learning, and the growth that happened along the way. Let me share a quick personal story here. One of the things that I tend to do is always keep my eye on the next big thing. I'm so focused on reaching that next big goal or finishing that next big project that I often overlook the progress that I'm making day by day. I'll achieve something significant like launching a new course, and I'm so glad that it's done that instead of celebrating, I immediately move on to the next goal. But here's the thing. That approach has left me feeling unsatisfied and burned out in the past. So for the last, 3 or 4 years, I've made it a point to track my progress and celebrate my wins. I also started a gratitude log where I make note of something every day that I'm grateful for. Those things help me feel more motivated and energized. Every week, usually on Sundays, I have a weekly ritual where I review the past week and I plan the upcoming week. During the review portion, I acknowledge my wins, big and small, and plan a little celebration. Sometimes it's as simple as treating myself to my favorite coffee or taking an afternoon off to read a book by the pool. Other times, for bigger achievements, I might plan a quick weekend getaway or buy myself something that I've been wanting for my business. I like to set those things up as rewards. The key is to make celebration a habit. Don't wait for the big wins to acknowledge your progress. Every step forward is worth recognizing. All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about embracing a growth mindset, setting SMART goals, creating action plans, building resilience, and the importance of tracking progress and celebrating wins. Now it's time for you to take action. Here's what I want you to do. 1, assess where you are. Take some time to reflect on your current situation. What's working well? Where do you see opportunities for growth? 2, set your SMART goals. Based on your assessment, set 1 to 3 SMART goals for the next 90 days. Remember to make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. 3, create your action plan. Break down your goals into manageable tasks, prioritize them, and assign deadlines. 4, establish your tracking system. Decide how you'll monitor your progress. Will you use a digital tool, a physical planner, or some combination of both? 5, plan your celebrations. Decide in advance how you'll celebrate your wins. Having something to look forward to can be a powerful motivator. And 6, take the first step. Look at your action plan and identify one thing you can do today to move towards your goals. Then do it. Remember the mantra, progress over perfection. Embracing a growth mindset and planning your next steps isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of learning, adjusting, and growing. There will be challenges along the way. But with the strategies that we've discussed today, you can face them head on and come out stronger on the other side. And if you really want to do some intentional work on your mindset, I have a 12-week challenge called Mindset Reset. Each week focuses on a different technique, from changing the way you talk to yourself in the morning to practicing gratitude and more. It's only available inside my membership, the Organized Business Toolbox, and I'll drop a link to that in the show notes. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to share it with a fellow entrepreneur who could benefit from these strategies. And don't forget to subscribe. That's one of the best ways to support this free podcast. You have everything it takes to achieve your dreams. It's time to embrace that growth mindset, set those SMART goals, and take action. And before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit TanyaKendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.